Dear students, welcome back. Today we're going to continue our lessons on transformations. We're doing rotations right now, and today we're going to see how to rotate a shape from a point which is not the origin. So we're still doing transformations. Rotations. And our objective for this lesson is to learn how to rotate a shape from a point which is not the origin. In our last lesson, we rotated shapes from the origin. So let me start by recapitulating a little bit what we've done in our last lesson, because it's important. We're going to use it also in this lesson. So in our last lesson, we've done rotations, and we said that we had three types of rotations. The first one was 90 degrees clockwise from the origin. The second one was 90 degrees anti-clockwise from the origin. And the third one was 180 degrees from the origin. We said that for each one of them we had a rule. The rule for rotating 90 clockwise from the origin was to swap coordinates. Then you had to change the sign of the y coordinate. An important rule, we're going to use it again today, but in a slightly different manner. 90 degrees anti-clockwise from the origin, we had to swap the coordinates. And then we had to change the sign of the x-coordinate. While rotating 180 degrees from the origin, the rule was just change all signs. Now, these three rules are very important rules. We must remember them because we are going to use them. We're going to use them again today, but since our center of rotation is not going to be the origin, we'll have some more work to do. Okay, so let's start immediately by doing an example. Alright, so I'm going to draw a grid. Set of axes. And I'm going to draw a shape. So I have this shape having coordinates 3, 1. This is 6, 1. Remember that one box is 1. Alright, so excuse me, 3, 2 and 6, 2. And we have the point 6, 4. Okay, so those are the coordinates of my triangle. And I'm going to rotate that triangle from this point here. That point having coordinates 1, 4. Okay, so this is shape A. I'm going to rotate shape A by 90 degrees clockwise from the point P 1, 4. So I'm going to call this point P. Now, as you can see, point P is not the origin, okay? Remember that the origin is the point 0, 0. So what am I going to do? Now, this will carry more marks because this small part which I'm going to do here is extra added to what we've already learned yesterday. So, I'm going to do the following. I'm going to write down what's going to happen so that I can go from point P to the vertices of A, to the vertices of triangle A. I'm going to call them X, Y, and Z. Okay? So, from point P to point X, I need to do the following. I need to follow an X and the Y coordinate. So from point P to point X, I need to add 2 on the x-axis. So this is plus 2. And subtract 2 on the y-axis. So from P to go to coordinate X, I need to add 2 on the X and subtract 2 on the Y. Remember, X always comes before Y. From point P to point Y, what do I need to do? Again, same thing. From P to Y, I have to, this time, add 5 on the X and subtract 2 on the Y. From P to Z, what do I need to do? I need to add 5 on the X and the Y is on the same line. So from P to Z, plus 5 and 0. Alright, I'm not going to move any values. So that's to go from point P to triangle A. Now, I have to rotate shape A 90 degrees clockwise. So what's going to happen if I rotate 90 degrees clockwise? What will happen if I rotate these by 90 degrees clockwise? What will be my new X movement and Y movement? So, according to the rule which we've done yesterday, rotating 90 degrees clockwise from the origin is this important rule here. I need to swap the coordinates, then change the sign of the y coordinate. So, I need to swap the two values. So, it's minus 2 and plus 2. It's minus 2 and plus 5. It's 0 and plus 5. So, I have swapped the coordinates. And then I have to change the sign of the y. So this is not plus anymore, it's minus. This is also minus. This is also minus. So now I will go on my shape and move those values. Be careful, these are movements, alright? They are not coordinates, movements. So let me show you. I'm going to go to P and I'm going to do the first one. It tells me minus 2 on the X, minus 1, minus 2 on the X, minus 2 on the X, and minus 2 on the Y, minus 2 on the Y. So this is my first one, X coordinate, alright? Minus 2 on the X, minus 2 on the Y. The second one, minus 2 on the X, minus 5 on the Y. Alright, so this is my Y second coordinate. And Z, 0, so I remain where I am, and minus 5. 0, minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is my Z. I can now draw the shape. XYZ. So this shape has been rotated by 90 degrees from point P. Alright, this is the rotation, okay? Rotation of 90 degrees clockwise from point P. Okay, so this is the work which we had to do, okay? So first we found the distances from P to the vertices of triangle A. Then we applied the rule of rotating those distances by 90 degrees clockwise. That's the first example. I'm going to do another example. These examples are all the same. This time we'll do 2 rotations so that we have 2 on the same page. Okay, and then of course you need to do your work. So another example. So a triangle. So this is our triangle ABC. Okay, having those coordinates. We have a point P. Okay, so rotate. We're going to rotate triangle ABC. Number 1, 90 degrees clockwise about P, and number 2 by 180 degrees about P. Alright, about P. So those are our two problems. So I'm going to start the first one. Okay, as we've done in the previous example, first I'm going to find the distances from P to A, B, and C. Okay, so the first one. So distances from P to A, from P to B, and from P to C. These are distances which I'm going to use twice. So x and y distances, x and y distances. So let's start counting distances. So from P to A, we have plus 3 on the x, minus 2 on the y, plus 3 and minus 2. To B I have plus 6 and minus 2. And to C I have plus 6 and minus 4. Now 90 degree clockwise. Alright, so I'm going to perform the 90 degree clockwise rotation. Remember, 90 clockwise, swap coordinates, change sign of y coordinate. So my new x and y distances will be swap coordinates, minus 2 plus 3, minus 2 plus 6, minus 4 plus 6, change sign of y, change sign of y. So these are my new distances. I'm going to go and count those distances. So I'm going to start from P, plus 2, and minus 3, 1, 2, 3, that is A, plus, excuse me, minus 2, there's a mistake there. Okay, let me start again. So minus 2 and minus 3, so it's minus 2 and minus 3, 1, 2, and 3, that is A. Minus 2 and minus 6, it's B. It's 4, 5, 6, this is B. And minus 4, minus 6, so minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and minus 6, minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and that is C. So that is our first one. I'm going to draw the triangle. Right, the first triangle is here. So we have the first one. Okay, that's number 1. For number 2, I need to rotate by 180 degrees. Okay, so second one. Again, I'm going to use these. Alright, I'm going to use those. So from P to A, from P to B, and from P to C. We had x and y distances. We have already counted them, so there's no need to do it again. So plus 3 minus 2, plus 6 minus 2, and plus 6 minus 4. Now I need to rotate that by 180 degrees. Remember the rule for rotating by 180 degrees? The rule was simply change all signs. So plus 3 minus 2 becomes minus 3 plus 2. This becomes minus 6 plus 2. And this becomes minus 6 plus 4. So I go and count squares. So the first one is minus 3 plus 2. So minus 1, minus 2, minus 3 plus 2, plus 1 plus 2. That is A. Minus 6 plus 2. So minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. This is B. And minus 6 plus 4, if this is 2, 3, 4, that is C. There I have my triangle. I'm going to draw the triangle. Okay, so it is as follows. Alright, and that is the second rotation by 180 degrees from point P. So that is the work which we need to do, okay? We're applying the rules for rotating by 90 and bar 180, but this time we had to do that little bit extra work so that we could find the new distances, okay? That's today's lesson. I hope you have understood this lesson. See you next time. Have a nice day.